Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So, as you guys all know, our property has several different springs on it, one of which is partially developed. So somebody at some point had dug out like a small pond type basin thing for it, which the ducks, since free ranging, have very much so have found and have fallen in love with and have made it a lot bigger. So I wanted to show you guys actually what the ducks and geese have been up to. This is in very much our front yard. There's our house, there's the road, very much front yard. So the spring is actually up over here. So there was a bunch of trash in it by the previous owners, and I've been working on trying to get it out. I assume at some point somebody tried to put like almost like a pond liner or something in there, because there is big amounts of like black plastic, like heavy duty black plastic in there. And I'm really not sure how I'm going to get that out. This spring is a year-round spring, so even when we had the really bad drought last year, it still kept trickling water. So I need to do a bunch more research to try to figure out exactly how to manage this thing, because since the ducks and geese have gotten a hold of it, besides us having a very wet spring, and that actually made it so our spring opened up more, the ducks and geese have really taken a shining to trying to give us a really big pond in the front yard. So I pretty much have to do a ton of research on trying to figure out ways that I can really capitalize on this and how to hand dig a pond. So this area here, that it was just like a little tiny trickle of a stream that went out of this big basin that's over in here. Now it is, it used to be probably 6 inches wide, and now it's like 1.5 feet wide. So the ducks and geese have definitely tried to work on developing this in the past week of free ranging, and they've essentially made it so we have kind of like a mini pond in our front yard. So it isn't deep enough yet that you can't walk through it with regular boots on, but it is sort of pooling over in here towards the fire pit. And I have no idea where the water is draining to, but the fire pit area, it just has water draining over in here, and it just keeps going down. So I'm assuming that it's probably working on creating a bigger pond. So water everywhere has kind of been the theme of this homestead. So this is not the only spring that we have, but it is the only one that you can actively see water flowing through. And honestly, the lay of the land over in here, it actually is kind of a decent spot for a pond. So as you can see, the rest of the house is kind of uphill, so we could easily make it so it starts kind of right about in here where my hand's at, and bring it down this way and over into where this big muddy mess is. Now, with doing a pond, I know that that'll make it so the ducks and geese never leave this area alone, which kind of is okay because of the fact that since there is a lot of water over in here, as you could imagine, the mosquitoes are awful. So the more that the ducks and geese come and splash around, the less that the mosquitoes can actually like breed and do their thing. So we have noticed that the mosquito pressure over in this area has not been as bad. We haven't been getting bit up as bad. Normally, if we were to try to sit over in this area, it would be miserable. You'd just be getting bit up constantly at this time of year, and pretty much for the rest of the summer. You can't really go over here because the mosquitoes are so bad. But since having the ducks and geese in this area, they've done a really good job of keeping the mosquitoes at bay. So back over by the spring, at some point, this must have had 2 ponds to it at some point, because there's where I'm standing at right now. There is a walkway right here, and as you can see, there's the watery spring there, and then here's another pond type basin that has been dug out, and I don't know if you guys can see it on camera or not. Can't go down there. Anyways, that part over in there where it is deep at, it actually is also very wet. There is some standing water in there, but there's not any active like trickling out or anything of the sort that we can visibly see. So what I kind of want to do, and if somebody knows pond management stuff, and if I'm totally wrong on this, please light up the comment section like crazy so that way I don't do something terribly wrong. So what I've kind of been thinking about doing is actually digging this basin here deeper. Right now it probably dips down to about 1.5 feet, 2 feet deep. I've been thinking about digging this deeper and then opening up the little island walkway thing right here to the other spring. So then that way, as this one spring here starts filling up, it can then spill over into this other basin here, like basically creating one big pond back here. At some point, somebody had already put in a drainage pipe. I don't think you guys can see it. There is a drainage pipe right here, so then that way when this filled too high with water, it could drain down the little ditch thing that's already there. So at some point, this had water in it too. In the past, I obviously don't know when, but so I was thinking about basically making this deeper so that way maybe it's like 4 foot deep, and then opening this up so that way this spring here could flow into here and then flow down, and then possibly creating another mini pond over by the fire pit over in there where it's really wide at. But I don't necessarily know if that'd be the best course of action to go about it. Simply because I'm not used to having a property that is wet. Everywhere that I've lived at before pretty much has been a very dry, heavy clay, drought-prone area. So for this property to have, so much natural water that is here, it is a fantastic, abundant resource, but I have no idea how to tap into it besides like scooping buckets of water out of the muddy pit that is right here. That is pretty much my only knowledge of what to do with water, is to just scoop out buckets, and I want to do something more efficient with that, besides also just letting the ducks and geese run all willy-nilly through there and creating a big muddy mess. So if you guys have any suggestions of maybe even books or websites or something to research, or if you have any personal experience with dealing with something like this, please let me know in the comments, because I need some help. Yeah, the water table here also, if this is important, I don't know. The water table here is also a very high water table, so if you dig down just a couple of feet, most of the time wherever we've tried digging at, after you go about 2 feet down, it will start seeping water into it, and just basically kind of being like a puddle. So yeah, that might be helpful information to somebody that knows more about this than I do, because I kind of don't know what to do. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions or helpful comments, please leave them down below so that way I can get my learn on. And if you guys are enjoying this content, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. I'd greatly appreciate it. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.